Hi everyone. In the last class we discussed about nutrition topic in life processes. Now we will discuss about respiration topic in life processes. Before going deep into the topic, let us know the differences between breathing and respiration once again. What is breathing? Breathing is the process of inhaling air and exhaling air outside. Inhaling air inside, that is atmospheric air we are taking inside through our nostrils into the lungs, and exhaling the air from the lungs we are leaving out through our nostrils, that is carbon dioxide we are leaving out. This is the process of exchange of gases between the atmosphere and lungs. This process we are simply calling it as breathing. Here is an experiment to prove that carbon dioxide is releasing from our nostrils. From the lungs we are leaving out carbon dioxide. So here is a small experiment. Look at the picture. Picture A and B. Once observe that for this experiment we have to take two test tubes. In the two test tubes we have to fill with lime water. Lime water, in the presence of carbon dioxide, it will turn into milky white in color. In the picture A, we can observe that a boy is breathing out the air. He is exhaling the air from lungs into the lime water. In the second picture, we are observing that the atmospheric normal air is inserted into the lime water with the help of the syringe. So after some time, we can observe that from the picture A, the lime water will turn into milky, because in the presence of carbon dioxide, the lime water will converts into milky white in color. So it is proved that the boy is leaving out air that consists of carbon dioxide. But what is respiration? Respiration is not equals to breathing. Breathing is a type of respiration, that is we call it as external respiration. That means we are in contact with the atmosphere, we are taking in air and leaving out air. So it is the process of breathing. It's a type of external respiration. Breathing is a type of external respiration. So what is respiration actually? Respiration is the exchange of gases between the cells and the blood. So in our daily activities, we will do number of chores and number of activities in our daily life. So during these processes, we require a lots of energy. For this process, we will get energy from our body. So where we are getting our energy? This is the question for you. Where we are getting energy? We will get energy by the process of respiration. So here what is happening, listen. The oxygen which is carrying out from the blood will reaches to the cells. Here our cells are already stored with the glucose. In our cells cytoplasm, there is a requirement of oxygen. So who is carrying here? The blood is carrying oxygen. We already know that. This oxygen which is sent to the cells cytoplasm. Here the cytoplasm consists of glucose. The glucose will break down. So glucose is a 6 carbon molecule. So directly we can't get energy from that. For that purpose, the glucose has to break down. That means C6 has to be break down into C3, that is pyruvate we will call it as. So here the breakdown of energy will give rise to ATP molecules. So ATP where they are producing means they are producing from mitochondria. This is happening inside the cell. So we are calling it as cellular respiration. Cellular respiration may aerobic or anaerobic. So respiration is mainly two types, that is aerobic respiration and another one is anaerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration occurs in the presence of oxygen. That means I already explained you that this oxygen molecules is helpful for the glucose to break down in the mitochondria, has to break down in the cytoplasm of the cell. From the cell, this 6 molecule glucose will break down into 3 molecule glucose. So it is happening in the cell. It is a cellular respiration. And anaerobic respiration, which happens in the absence of oxygen, like bacteria we can say. Bacteria won't have the respiratory organs like us, like lungs they don't have. So they respirates in the absence of oxygen. So here what is happening? Here also the energy is releasing in the bacteria by fermentation process. In muscle cells also it releases lactic acid along with energy. Whatever it may be, anaerobic or aerobic, the carbon 6 atom molecule of glucose, in the first step it has to break down into 3 carbon molecules. That is the glucose formula you already know, C6H12O6. This has to be break down into 3 carbon molecules, that we will call it as pyruvate. After breaking down into pyruvate, then the next step will continue. In the absence of oxygen, the bacteria like yeast will give rise to ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy finally. Whereas in mitochondria, it gives carbon dioxide, water and energy. Whereas in muscle cells of human, it will give lactic acid and energy. In every product, finally it is giving energy. That is the main motto of the respiration. In this process, the energy is the final product here in either it will be aerobic or anaerobic reactions. All the reactions we can observe that the energy is releasing out. This energy is in the form of ATP molecule. ATP, adenosine triphosphate. This is the energy currency of the body to build up energy. So how this ATP molecule is forming from the mitochondria of the cell. From the mitochondria, this adenosine diphosphate adds 1 molecule of phosphate to give rise to ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate. Diphosphate is giving rise to triphosphate by the addition of 1 extra phosphate molecule. This is the energy currency. So we call mitochondria as a powerhouse of the cell because it releases energy outside to the cell so that the cell will perform other activities also with the help of this ATP molecule. This energy not only performs other cellular activities but also it performs endothermic reactions in the cell. Endothermic reactions means nothing but it's some of the reactions which happen by the absorption of heat. Endothermic, thermal in the sense heat. So the heat is required to perform few of the reactions. So for that process also this ATP molecule is required. Next, what happens the respiration process in plants? So Not only humans but also plants will also respire. You know that. There are special tiny pore-like structures. Stomata are useful for the transport of these gases by the diffusion process. Diffusion is nothing but the movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration. Diffusion we will call it as. Through this process, from the stomata, the cells will gain these gases from one cell to another cell. We already know that. So here the respiration, what is happening here in plants, during the night time, actually they will breathe in oxygen. That means they will acquire oxygen from the atmosphere, whereas in daytime, in the presence of carbon dioxide and sunlight, this will perform photosynthesis. That means depending upon the presence and absence of sunlight, this plants will acquire carbon dioxide and also oxygen. So both the aerobic and anaerobic respirations will be taken in the plants. So during daytime it will take carbon dioxide and perform photosynthesis. This is called, in the absence of oxygen it is happening, so it is called anaerobic respiration. During night time it is happening in the presence of oxygen. That means oxygen it will take during night time. So it is aerobic respiration. So both the respiration we can observe in the plants. So this is all about the plant. Next, come to terrestrial animals. There are different types of terrestrial animals. You know that kangaroo and different dog, horse. These all are terrestrial animals. So how they will breathe? They have specialized organs for respiration. Even humans, they can respire with the help of lungs. Whereas aquatic organisms, that means like fishes, turtles, tortoise, these all are aquatic animals. How they will breathe? There is a difference between terrestrial animals and aquatic animals. In aquatic animals, what is happening here? They will swim in the water, so they will have a very low amount of oxygen in the water. So their respiratory organs are present outside the body. That means gills. In fishes we can observe that gills are present external, so that more amount of oxygen they will take and leave. So the respiration is happening in the gills, so so as to acquire more oxygen from the water. So oxygen in the water is in dissolved state. Hence the oxygen in water is less when compared to the atmospheric oxygen. Now let us discuss about the respiration in humans. You know that humans are well developed organisms and complexity varies here. The lungs are well developed with a good respiratory tract. So what are the parts and what is the pathway? Let's see the pathway of respiration. Nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, and finally blood capillaries. Here first the air enters into the nostrils. In the nostrils it consists of hair and mucus. Hair and mucus are helpful for the removal of dust particles which are present in the atmosphere. Then it is carried to the nasal cavity. Next, nasal cavity leads to pharynx and larynx. Here rings of cartilage are present. These rings of cartilage are helpful for the smooth passage of the air into the tract. So next it leads to Y-shaped structure, that is bronchi. Bronchi leads to bronchioles. Bronchioles finally ends to air-like structures called alveoli. Alveoli are the balloon-like structures which are useful, which are expanded like how the balloon, if we insert some air into that, how the balloon expands, in the same way these alveoli also expands. These are simply like a small balloon like structures, and our space is present inside. The oxygen which is present in the blood capillaries reaches there here, and here the blood which is moving from the capillaries will attract these oxygen molecules with the help of a pigment. You know that our blood consists of a pigment, that is hemoglobin, which bind up the O2 oxygen molecules, and it will carry these blood cells will carry to all parts of the cells, body parts. This is all about respiration. In the next topic we will discuss about transportation. Thank you everyone.